established association that we just had on stage earlier. So check them out online. They're sponsoring the entire eTravel track, which we appreciate because that makes us even easier to pull a good program together, get the best speakers for you on stage. And one of the best speakers that I introduce next, I'm very excited about because I think there's massive potential in that topic. It's one of the trends I think we should look at and we should keep up with because there's so much we can do with it. And I think it also increased in headlines the past year. So I think many of you read about digital IDs, of a decentralized approach of all of that. So let's reimagine travel with a user-centric identity infrastructure. And it's my honor to welcome on stage Neoke, and we have the CEO and co-founder Vikas Bola. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Leah.
Let me quickly say a few words. So, Vikas, when did you start with Neoke?
Well, it's a relatively young company.
Yes?
Yeah, it's a year and a half old.
A year and a half old, but you made some waves already. So give me a quick pitch. So in what category do we put Neoke and where are you shaping travel?
Well, if I have to kind of describe Neoke in like one line, we're building the identity infrastructure that is missing in connected travel. And we foundationally believe that it's not possible to kind of dream of the seamless and the connected travel without the technology that we're building.
Right, so I'm personally very excited because we heard from the booking CEO, for example, he said for many years he talks about the connected trip, and we all know we want it, but it's not quite there. So tell us about it and how we can achieve that. So enjoy the next 15 minutes about the user-centric identity infrastructure. Thank you. Vikas Bola.
Thank you. It's great to be back. Last year, I was here standing on this stage, and we talked about the technology or the technical concept of digital identity or identity-based infrastructure. But today, if you think about what has been spoken, it largely has been spoken about AI and personalization. So in the first session where Linda talked about personalization, and it comes down to the segment of one. And then in the next session, Paula talked about cybersecurity and the need of that in the age of AI if we really want to scale it. Everything comes down to identity. And why do we need it? Think about your own traveler journey, the concept, right? You start your search on one platform, book your flights on another, book your hotels on another, and at every step of the way, you have to somehow express who you are, right? Where you're going, the refilling of the same type of information over and over again, the same type of data, and that does not interoperate. And that's not really it. You get stuck everywhere. So your digital identity does not work very well with your physical identity because even if you've been to a hotel 5 or 7 times, you still have to go and express who you are. And if you're going to the airport and you've been there like 50 times, still they don't recognize you. And let's look at some of the data here. When somebody goes to a website, how many times do you think, or what do you think, well, it's written over there, but less than 1% of the users or the traffic actually registers, or less than 10% log in. So you never really have the information that you need about the customer. And today we have a very simplistic way of like some type of segmentation of the customer, and that provides some level of personalization. But think about if you really deeply know and understand about the customer, the type of personalization that will play out. But that's not really it, because again, when you go, wherever you go, there are some form of manual checks, because your physical identity does not work very well with your digital identity, which is largely your emails. That's why where we come into the picture. And our direction is that we want to provide the most appropriate, the latest, and the best tools that we possibly can to actually enable this transition. And the first one is auth, which is the first time the customer has any touch point with any mobile or any technology or any application, we would be able to resolve that customer and then provide a way for the identity that is captured to be reused through authorization or consent-based mechanism. And the last bit is orchestration. So think about it this way, that an intuitive way for you to, where a system could know what should be your ideal next step, right? And shares that data in real time to provide you that seamless experience. So, one of the challenges that on why, like, think about it this way, right? So you go on any airline or any hotel company website and try to log in or register yourself, and you would find out how long it takes. And one of the reasons why that doesn't happen is because the managing identity or identity services is quite complex. So what we provide is one single integration for all your identity needs. And starting off with social login, which is something that is still not implemented within travel, and this is not how we interact online. We also provide, once the customer data is verified, then we provide passwordless login, or you could log in with your phone through a credential that we issue on the phone. We also provide ID verification, global access. So any country, any type of document through an NFC or a scan, we would be able to verify who the customer is. And then match that data with your selfie or the liveness check to really ensure that you are really you. And at that point, we issue a digital verifiable credential. Think about it this way. Is there a way for you to verify or prove yourself online today? There is none. And what we do is to kind of build, large format of cryptography to preserve that data within your device, so that you are always in control of your own information. And this is a very foundational yet very, very important technology, not only for travel but for the internet. And this is where the shift has happened. And what I mean by that shift is that the first level of data storage capabilities were in on-prem databases and servers. And the next stage was cloud. And then this stage is called the verifiable credentials or digital identity, which is largely built on edge technology, which is data stored in your devices cryptographically. And whosoever wants to get to understand who you are, can prove that through cryptography. Now, to a very simplistic use case around this is that an employee that works in a particular company, there's really no way for you to say, okay, I'm an employee of this company, and you can actually verify that through the verifiable credential. So what we're doing, just an example of relaying that, how that is some of the use cases. One of them is with IATA, and you know about IATA issues, IATA IDs, for you to make payments in the travel agency domain, and it's quite largely misused. And what we provided is this transition to a verifiable credential or digital travel credential, which enables this seamless access to really know that this is the travel agency that has made the booking. One of the other things that we're working with is with Royal Air Maroc, where we simply integrated the digital identity wallet solution within the application of Royal Air Maroc. And through that, we are basically orchestrating end-to-end journey. Now, what we learned were really remarkable things. One was that the moment you share data of an individual to the point of one in the reservation funnel, we saw a conversion lift of 6 basis points. And what that actually means is that an additional revenue, because you know the customer, you can offer services, pre-fill all that information, and hence the reservation conversion increases. And we also learned that every time you ask a customer to put any form of information on the reservation funnel, the conversion drops by 50%. So this is a really important tool. What we also were able to do is to increase the known customer base or the sign-in factor by 50%, but also as a result, the 20% increase in bookings. So the open question comes is that how do we manage data interoperability, or how do we manage data standards? And this is where we started first to think about what are the core foundational pieces to enable this technology at scale. And then that is the reason why we're working with International Civil Aviation Office on verifiable data technology standards, W3C, which are open standards, OpenID, and European Commission as well on e-signatures and cryptographic proofs. This product called Ready to Fly is getting implemented starting April in 2 airports and 2 hub airlines is the first case. Where it's a really simple mechanism, which is a reusable profile, verified reusable profile every time you go to the airport. So you verify your passport. The verification status is updated in the departure control system. Every time you want to go, you scan your QR or tap your phone, At that point in time, your biometric match happens, and there you go. And this is a one-click experience for any future bookings. And just to kind of mention about how this technology will scale in terms of interoperability, the same profile moves into the next step of the journey. So imagine that, if you made a booking at in an airline website and you want to now book a hotel, that data interoperability is now possible through a one-click experience, which we provide through automation. So here you go, and you press a button, and you're checked in. And this is where we integrate with the property management systems, and that's how it works. This is your true, unique identifier that moves across different systems. The biggest challenge, and we've spoken about in the earlier sessions as well, around the fragmentation of data between the systems within a business. And I think what we're trying to do is to build this capability that sits on top of your systems to be able to actually maintain and match that data across any touch point. But not only that, provide asynchronous permission management, authorization and authorship of that data so that you can be very, very sure that this data is totally verified and belongs to the user. Where we want to go is connect the dots in travel, to have this one persistent identity flow or infrastructure and standards that operates across different verticals to be able to really provide the best experiences we possibly can and dream of the travel that we all think about. So in the end, coming back again, 3 very powerful tools which provide state-of-the-art authentication mechanism, the cryptographic storage, which belongs to the user in the most private and secure manner, but also at the same time provide data information exchange to build personalization journeys. That's what we do. So the ask here is, if you're a technology company, we are currently integrating with more and more stacks. So far in the hospitality space, we've integrated with Cloudbeds and Muse, and we're going to continue to do that. We're now active in about 150 vacation rental spaces as well, and about 15 hotels. And call is to personalize these journeys with very specific use case of providing automation built on top of identity. Yeah, and if you want to know more and talk to us, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vikas Bola from Neoke. I give you a thank you so much. There's so much potential, so exciting.